If you can nail how to make a supplier profitable, no matter who it is, that is a skill that you can duplicate. That's like the beauty about like entrepreneurship is like, once you figure out one thing that works, you just exhaust it until it no longer works. When it comes to selling on Amazon, there's a sales process to getting profitable pricing in Amazon. It doesn't just fall into your lap, right? It's not like you just open up an account and then there's a gold mine of profitable products to be able to buy. You need to earn your way into it, and how you speak to your distributors, the sales reps, the sales process behind it is ultimately how that even happens. The first thing is like, what I want everyone to understand when it comes to wholesale is that it really doesn't matter who the supplier is. People ask like, is Thayer worth it? Is KH worth it? Is UNFI worth it? All these suppliers have this scale to buy at the volumes to get pricing that is profitable on Amazon, right? It's whether or not they're willing to offer the pricing to you. Some suppliers will, some suppliers won't move at all, and it just depends on their business model. The sales process behind getting profitable pricing is this. If a supplier isn't giving you the pricing or isn't willing to move on price, the constraint isn't who the supplier is, it's your sales process. Okay, so there could be 100 people with the same wholesale account. There's 45 people in this room right now. If every single person in this room has an account with KH, there's a few people that probably have profitable pricing, a lot of people that don't. Doesn't mean that KH is not a good supplier, right? It's just that for you, it's not a good supplier. And we want to be able to change that into a good opportunity. 5 people could have profitable pricing and the other 95 don't. Same supplier, different conversations. That means different pricing, different access to products, different access to opportunities that maybe other people don't see. And this is why wholesale is profitable. If you can find your pocket, people can't just jump into it and replicate it. There's a strategy behind it. Now, the thing that really holds people up in their business is capital. They have this limiting belief on themselves right now that the money that they have access to in their business is the reason why that they can't get profitable pricing, that suppliers aren't willing to work with them. They're not going to move on price because you're not going to spend enough money. There's so many different ways to get capital for your business, right? There's 0% APR credit cards. There's net terms with suppliers. There's local banks. There's so many creative ways to, number one, get money. And number two, it's not just about how much you spend today. It's about how much you're going to spend over the lifetime of an account. If the supplier senses that you're almost going to be here today and then be gone tomorrow, they're most likely not going to change their price. They're not going to lower their margin just for a one-time transaction. That's not their business model. Their business model is opening up a wholesale account with someone and having that person be in business for years and years and years and years and building a long-term relationship. So when you're on the phone, when you're approaching these suppliers, think about it long-term, right? Thinking about where you want to be in the next 5, 10, 15 years and communicate that with them, because that will make it a lot easier for them to be like, wait a second, maybe this is a company that's could be worth giving better pricing to. Okay, so like I said, if your rep gets the sense that you're going to buy once and then disappear, they're not going to lower their pricing. I think it kind of makes sense, right? If you were to reverse the roles, if you were the person that owns a distribution company and you had people calling you all day long, there's no shortage of business. Why would you lower your price? The inventory is going to sell regardless, whether it's going to Joe or it's going to Stacy. Why would you get a lower margin on something you could just get a better margin on? When the supplier knows that there's 10 orders, 15 orders, 20 orders, the conversation starts to change. What I used to do in my business, when this is something that really, really changed my company. Like in the beginning, I remember opening up wholesale accounts with so many suppliers. Like I'm talking about 20, 30 wholesale accounts, and nothing made sense. Supermarket Distributors of America, Frontier Co-op, Bradley Caldwell. And you know what's so funny about it? Is that a lot of those wholesale accounts I first opened up an account with, I didn't do business with. And then it came back to them because I realized that it was me. I was missing out on the opportunity, because the opportunity lies where you can paint the picture to them. The game is, how do you paint a picture to the distributor that you are going to not only be here for the long term, but there's like a relationship to be built. And then all of a sudden they're willing to work with you. This is the process. So the first is that you need to make yourself seem bigger than you are. That starts with your credit application. This is like a resume. Even if you're brand new, you need to make yourself seem bigger than you are. It's the name of the game. Even if you don't even have the wholesale account open, just put a name down. If it's someone you just open up an account with, you never spend money, just put the name down. Put a larger number on monthly projected volume than what you're comfortable with, and then match it with how you speak, right? So if you go and you're calling a distributor or you're emailing them and saying, hey, by any chance, do you guys have letter of authorizations and invoices that are going to get me ungated on Amazon, you already put yourself into a 6-foot deep hole. They're not interested because for them personally, they're like, I'm legit as legit gets, right? Like I don't need to prove to you that my goods are authentic. That's where their mindsets are at. That's for us as sellers to do our vetting to make sure that they're correct. And if you're ever concerned, just call the brand. Don't ask the distributor, call the brand. Say, hey, by any chance, do you guys distribute or sell to this distributor? You get the answer from the actual company, right? And then at least you're not tarnishing the relationship with the distributor. Because when you start that way, you're starting off on the wrong foot. Or if you ask a question like, do you ship the products into Amazon? Can we ship the products into a prep center? It just comes off as being new. It doesn't sound like you're going to spend money. And they want to just hear money, even if you do or don't, right? No matter, everyone starts at a different position. You got to make yourself sound like you are a business, an established business. So instead of saying prep center, say 3PL, right? Third-party logistics company. Rather than saying, do you have invoices that are going to get me ungated? Just out of curiosity, do you buy directly from the brand? You get the same answer, right? But how you're asking the question is significantly different from how they're viewing you as a prospect, essentially, like as a lead for their business. People in this room open up a wholesale account and then they don't get assigned a sales rep, or do they not know if they have a sales rep? It's a problem, right? You want a sales rep. Your sales rep is your best friend, your best friend. The second that you open the account, you need to introduce yourself immediately. Nothing else matters. I don't care if you're on a date. I don't care if you're on vacation. I don't care. It doesn't matter. If you want a successful business, you get the account open, you call them immediately. You say, hey, this is Paul from XYZ company. Thank you for opening up the wholesale account. We're so excited to be able to work with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How long have you been in the industry for? Just normal conversation, right? Just like start off on the right foot as a friend. You're meeting a new friend. And then as you get deeper and deeper into the conversation, you joke a little bit. Then you ask the questions. For an example, I had a phone call with a sales rep that I placed 3 purchase orders with. She was joking with me about how we've had an account with her for 5 years and we placed 3 orders with her. But the first 5 minutes of the conversation had nothing to do with business. It was about how we got a tornado in New Jersey and we live in New Jersey. We don't get tornadoes here. And how the weather has been insane and how it's been flooding and all this had nothing to do with business. And then we kind of transitioned into it. And all of a sudden we started getting access to more products and catalogs that we didn't have access to prior to. And our purchase orders aren't large. They're like $4,000. They're just average purchase orders. We're asking the right questions. And every single person in this room can ask those questions. You got to put yourself out there. You got to give your business the opportunity to succeed. And that starts with your rep. Your rep has the answers. The rep knows exactly how you can build a successful business on Amazon. That's literally the key, right? The closer that you can get to your sales rep, the easier it is to make a ton of money. The further you are away, if you don't know who your sales rep is, you don't know how many kids they have, you don't know when their birthday is, most likely you're not making money from that supplier. And it's because you don't have a relationship with the rep. So if you don't have a rep, get one. Call the distributor tomorrow. I want a sales rep. Our goal is to be spending $10,000 a month or $5,000 a week, whatever. Then just throw out a number. Who cares? $50,000 a month. Say a random number. We want a sales rep. They start building a relationship. Now, if you want to be able to get access to these weekly live calls that we have within the software community, there will be a link down below that you can book a call that we can get access to our software, as well as being surrounded by people that are starting, growing, or even scaling their company to multiple 7 or 8 figures in their business. And that way you can get the software system to help you find profit products, find profit brands, find new suppliers, and grow your business while being surrounded by other people that are actually doing it too. So like I said, if you want to be able to tap into this, click the link down below, and that way you can book a call with their team to see if this is the right fit for your company. On that phone call, I'm breaking the ice early. I'm not waiting. I'm not taking the catalog that they gave me. I'm not exporting the list off of Kahi and then going to the software and then scanning the catalog and then saying, nothing here is profitable. What do? I feel like I'm wasting my time. It's not how we need to operate. The way that we need to operate is we need to ask those questions up front. It's completely normal in the Amazon wholesale space to get discounts, to get better pricing, but there's a certain way on how you want to say it, right? You can say the same thing 5 different ways. So when we're approaching our supplier, and this is on the initial conversation, by the way, that we're having with this rep, that you're having a normal conversation, that's when you want to break the ice. So for me personally, breaking the ice with my supplier was, hey, is there any chance you guys have like a list of products that like are not yet in inventory that maybe we could get access to? He's like, I never do this. I never send this to anyone. I need to go back into my reports. I was pulling strings. Third purchase order in. I've maybe spent $10,000 with the supplier. But you got to ask the questions. The worst case scenario is they say no, right? Unfortunately, we can't do it. But on that phone call, you want to ask them, hey, just out of curiosity, like, is there a specific dollar amount of purchase orders that we need to get to in order to hit a volume discount? Oh, just out of curiosity, do you guys have like promotions or pallet deals, or do you have any upcoming trade shows that maybe we can attend? You're asking the question about getting better pricing without being direct, right? And specifically what I'm mentioning here is promotions and trade shows. They know exactly what you're talking about. You say, yeah, just out of curiosity, do you guys have any promotions that are going on? You're asking, hey, do you guys have products with better pricing? But you're saying it in a professional manner. And for them, almost every single distributor has promotions. They're trying to move inventory, or the brand is offering a discount to be able to get their product through distribution more. And that's where there's a lot of opportunities to be able to buy inventory. That's how I buy inventory from KeHE. Right? I don't buy products from KeHE on my volume discount. Every single product I buy is off of promotion. I will not touch a KeHE product unless it's on promotion. Otherwise, it does not make sense at all to sell. Everything's unprofitable. So like I said, you're pre-handling the price conversation before it becomes a problem. Okay, you don't want to spend time sourcing a catalog, not knowing if you can get better pricing. You need to know the answer. You don't need to know the percentage. You don't need to know the amount, but you got to know, are they willing to work with me? Okay, they're not. All right. So, I'll source off the current pricing. How much opportunity is here today?
So you mentioned that you only source KeHE on promotion.
Yes.
So the way that I was thinking about that before, since promotions are like one-time deals, and we're trying to think about like restocking, we didn't think it would make the most it wouldn't be the wisest business decision to source and buy products that we wouldn't be able to get that same pricing at. So when you get it at a promotional value, then when you go to restock, do you just ask for it at that same promotional value to maintain it?
Yeah, so there's a few different things. The first is that usually promotions happen multiple times a year. Okay. For the same brand, number one. Number two, a promotion is where the brand is giving a discount to a distributor, and then that distributor is passing it along to you. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because if you open up other wholesale accounts with similar distributors, they're also going to have promotion, right? So let's just say KeHE has promotion in August. Then UNFI has a promotion, and they have that promotion going on for 60 days. UNFI will have the promotion in October, right? And then they'll just break it up. And so every single distributor gets some love, essentially, of the discount. So the deeper you get into the business, the more you can keep this inventory in hand and get profitable pricing essentially year round, because you're getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the business.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
You're welcome. Right. And that goes back to why I always say you got to open up more wholesale accounts, right? If you're struggling in your business, the answer is I got to open up more wholesale accounts. Like that is always going to be the lever to pull, because you expose yourself to more and more and more opportunities that other people don't have. Every single wholesale account you open, whether or not it is or isn't profitable, is a stepping stone to a better opportunity. The suppliers that are some of our best suppliers today, the only reason why we ever open up wholesale accounts is because we opened up the accounts that didn't make us money. But those were names. Those were opportunities that we could say, hey, we have an account with this company and this company and this company. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, accounts with our competitors, like maybe we should consider them. And then boom, changes the conversation, compared to trying to open up an account with this supplier and you have no references. Or like, you can work with the other people first, right? You can come to us a little later. Like that's their thought process. Number 4 is you got to build your target list. Okay. So I say this all the time. We do this every single week. And I mean this. The thing that changed my business is when I remember spending literally like maybe it was a week or something with this one supplier where I made a spreadsheet, probably 40 to 50 items, put quantities, I put the current price, what our ask price would be. It didn't matter, right? It didn't matter if it was an outrageous price that maybe wasn't going to make sense, or maybe it was just like a few percentage points. It didn't matter. I put it on, and I built this list up to around, $40,000 to $50,000. And then I put it on a spreadsheet where I said multiply by 12, right? To show them like annual purchases, essentially. Changed my business because they came back, they gave us better pricing. And then I was like, wait a second here. I just need to do this again and again and again and again and again. Some suppliers, like I said, it's not gonna work, but there'll be suppliers that it's going to work. And that's what's going to lead you to your that runway, that initial starting point to get off the ground and start scaling your business. Building your target list needs to be built around the products where they're worth selling. It's not about the profit. Just look at the keep a product. How well is it selling? Is it selling fast? Are there other resellers selling it? Like, is it just a good wholesale item where you look at it and you're like, damn, I wish I could sell that product? If it is, put on the list, ask for better pricing. Worst thing they can do is just say no, especially when there's other people already selling it on Amazon. One of the best things about it selling on Amazon is that there's signals everywhere. There's signals that you're like 1 or 2 steps away from changing your current situation in your business, because you're constantly surrounded by other people on listings that you see them selling it. Whether there may be smaller sellers, medium-sized sellers, larger sellers, doesn't matter. It is exposure that you could be selling it to. At least that's the mindset that you should be having in your business. You see other people selling it, you should be telling yourself, I should be selling this product too, because that's the reality. You could be. Now, like I said, show them the future, the relationship. So build a list and put it in front of them. Make it clear that you intend to buy these items over and over and over again. Show them the long term, that you're not going to be here just to place one PO and then go out the window. Your goal is to place consistent purchase orders for a long period of time. If you have profitable pricing, you will, right? Because you'll be making money. Number 6, compare new costs to old costs. So when that supplier comes back to you, you analyze. This is really where the analyzation should be coming in. When you're scanning on UPC scanners, you're going through Storefront Stalker or whatever the scenario is, you guys might see this when I'm sourcing here. Is like, I'm quick. I'm not over analyzing things because I want to make sure that it's actually going to be something I'm going to sell. So if I can build a list of 20 to 30 items real quick, go to my supplier, get pricing back, then I analyze the product and say, okay, well, here's my actual price. Is it truly worth it to sell it? Yes or no? Not, I move on. If it is, awesome, I put on a purchase order. Maybe I'll increase the quantity, consistently do that, and then just repeat the process. The supplier didn't change, right? It's not about who, it's the conversation. Now, there's certain suppliers that absolutely have better pricing off the bat, or they have more access to products, or they have a bigger catalog, or whatever the scenario is, that just is a better wholesale supplier. There's definitely better wholesale opportunities than others. But the only way that you get there is by doing this and consistently doing it. You can turn a brand new wholesale company that you just open up an account with to a profitable opportunity for your business. Can you give us a real-time example of a target list? Let me see if I can pull one up. There's gonna be a few different images of where we were in our journey when we made this spreadsheet. In my buddy's room, you can see like a spreadsheet back here. We were packaging products on his bed. These are some goals that I put in when I was in 2021, right? We 5K a month in sales on Amazon, 15 replenishable products, right? Get an Amex Gold, 1,000-pound shipment, 50 plus units a day. I made this back in 2021. If you just do this over and over and over and over and over again, ignore the pricing you have today. There's a few products in here that ended up working out, and that's literally what got us to 15, 20, 25K a month. And then we just did it again. And all of a sudden you just start scaling your business.
This is the list you shared with your suppliers?
Yes.
With your
For
one
one of my suppliers. Yes.
Yeah.
This literally was like our first profitable supplier here, right here. This was 2021. To me, this is pretty crazy.
I'm just wondering if they say yes, what will you do?
If they said yes, I'd be like, well, fuck, no, I got no problem in my hands. I was very, very delusional. I really, really was. But I think it really is a huge part about entrepreneurship. Like, if you don't believe it, then why is it going to happen? Right? If there's like something on your shoulder that's like, I don't really know. There is no plan B, right? It's like plan A, and you go 100% into it. I hope that you enjoyed this live call that we had within our software community. If you're new here, please consider to like, share, and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment on whether or not you feel like the video is helpful for your business. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one.